What's up, everybody? We are here with Brady Meister, who is fighting on December 13th at Fusion Fight League at 265 pounds in mixed martial arts. And thank you so much for taking the time to have a quick chat with me. I will always love to get to know the fighters and the story behind the fighters as we approach the big event. So let me start off with this. What got you into mixed martial arts when you were growing up?
Well, I had my first day of training just before my 22nd birthday. I had moved up to Great Falls, Montana, September 1st of 2020. And I'd lifted weights. I was working all the time, and I had a lot of anger growing up,
Mm.
and the weights weren't cutting it. Drinking it away wasn't happening. So I looked towards getting involved in combat sports. Um, and the rest is history. I started because I had nowhere else to put the anger, and now my whole livelihood is based around combat sports, which is phenomenal.
Now, did you train anything or did you do any wrestling or other sports growing up?
Not really. I did half a season of wrestling. I want to say my sophomore year, my junior year of high school. But I quit that because I was a quitter back then. If it got hard and it wasn't doing anything for me, I was like, "Psh, whatever. I got better things to do," which I really didn't. And in hindsight, it's one of my bigger regrets. But learning it now as an adult makes me appreciate the sport and what it does for people a lot more than I did back then.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. Now, I started training really late in life, not till I was 39, but I do think there's something to be said for picking it up later when you're more mature and you're choosing it. You're not being thrust into it. Like you
Correct.
might have a finer attention to detail. And I imagine for somebody like you who you're talking about, you love it so much now, and it's a great outlet for you that maybe you're even have a much steeper learning curve, like you're learning at a much faster rate. That would be my assumption. But now, oh, I'm getting a hold on, let me mute this. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that.
You are all
So,
good.
so you started training. Now you said you are 26. I'm sorry, you said you started training when you're 22, and you're 26 right now. Is that correct?
That is correct. Shortly before this fight, I'll be turning 27.
Oh, got it. Okay, so you've been training around 4 or 5 years. And
Correct.
how did the training begin? Did it start with jujitsu? Did it start with Muay Thai, or a combination thereof?
I just started showing up, man. They had practice from 5 to 7, Monday through Friday. They would alternate between boxing, kickboxing, jujitsu, MMA. I don't think at that time Joe had a specific wrestling program. I know he utilized wrestling during his jujitsu program. It was a long time ago, but I just showed up and kept showing up, staying for both practices. So I hopped in all the way. I learned it all from the start. So everything I've learned about boxing, kickboxing, jujitsu, wrestling, has been learned under the filter of going into mixed martial arts.
Do you have a favorite training day in the gym? Would you say you look forward to sparring the most, jujitsu, pad work? Is there anything that you really gravitate towards?
There are aspects of all of it that I really enjoy. When I first started, I liked striking. Right, everybody likes to hit hard. I got heavy hands and heavy kicks.
Mm.
So it always feels good to hear it go boom, boom, boom in the gym. But as I've gotten more involved in it, I've begun to appreciate grappling and the nuance within it, whether it's wrestling or jujitsu. The more I used to hate wrestling days, now I look forward to them because they're one of my
That's
favorites.
awesome.
Just because that, let's get it. It's just a really fun, fast paced, technical sport.
Now, growing up, prior to your training, were you somebody that did, even though you weren't training fighting, were you sometimes finding yourself in fights or street fights or things like that?
No, I've never been in a fight outside of a promotion, sanctioned or otherwise. There was a couple of times where I was in a heated altercation, but it never came to a physical escalation, and I'm pretty grateful for that. Like I said, I was a hot-headed kid, but I sat by myself for the majority of the time, and I didn't really associate with a lot of people. But when it found me, I didn't back down, and it usually de-escalated when I escalated.
Ah, I see. And you're fighting in the heavyweight division. I didn't see your height on there, by the way. How tall are you?
I'm 6'7" tall.
Okay, so that's
Yeah.
people are gonna back down when they
Yeah.
see that.
They're like, oh, look at this guy. Probably not. I'm like,
Yeah,
all
right.
right.
Like, yeah, you're sitting down, maybe they're acting tough, then you stand up, they're like, "Oh, I was just
Yep.
kidding, man. It's all good."
Everybody's got a problem because they got something to prove. And I'm like, bro, it's peace, love, turtle doves out here. Like, my
Yeah.
nickname's Big Bird. I clown in this motherfucker. I don't know why y'all are all crazy.
How are you feeling going into this fight? And do you have any thoughts about your opponent, the guy you're facing, Danny Trejo?
Well, Danny Trejo, I've asked a few of my friends who have seen him. I've watched his fights, as you do before you take him. The guy's got heavy hands, but so does everybody else in the division. I'm not doing that to discredit Danny or any of his achievements. Like the
Sure.
guy can bang. Um, but it's not something that necessarily sets him apart from the rest of the heavyweight division. He's short, he's stocky, he's crazy strong. I'm very excited to work with him and to demonstrate my skill set in the cage once again. It's been about 2 years thereabouts since I fought mixed martial arts. I've been running for the BKFC for the past year and a half, 2 years, just because
No.
better pay scale. But my
Okay.
wife is in her third trimester, and we actually just scheduled our induction date for December 4th. So we're having a baby and then off and right in the cage. And then from there, I'm going to be taking a hiatus for a little bit to focus on the family, focus on the gym, and just handle business at home before I start going back out again.
Absolutely. Wait, so bare knuckle, what do you think of bare knuckle? Because I know Justin did one bare knuckle fight and he broke his hand. He's like, "Nah, I don't think I'm doing this ever again." What do you think about it?
I like bare knuckle boxing. It's very fast. It's very
Yeah.
relatable, right? I mean, if you ask some guy on the street, "Hey, do you know what a kimura is?" They're like, "What kind of food is that?" Right? But everybody
Yeah.
knows what a punch is, what bare knuckle is, right?
Yeah.
It hurts. Absolutely, it hurts.
Yeah.
But I mean, don't tell my nose this, but I've taken less damage in bare knuckle boxing than I have in MMA.
Hmm.
Even and in boxing, right? Just because all the padding on those the gloves provides that extra concussive force
Oh,
from the compression and decompression of the pads.
sure.
Um, Whereas bare knuckle, while it hurts more, it's sharper. It causes a lot more superficial breaks. Once again, my nose.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of that stuff doesn't necessarily go and penetrate through to your brain.
Sure.
Which
And do you feel like Justin has told me to some people have a genetic predisposition to being a great bare knuckle boxer with the way your hands are just built. Do you feel like you've got those good genes, those lucky genes?
I don't know if it's necessarily luck, but when I was first training with Joe, I remember when he first asked me to if I wanted to fight. He was like, "Hey, you want to be a bare knuckle? You want to go bare knuckle boxing?" He asked it joking. I was like, "Yeah, man, absolutely." I was young, had a lot of pride. I went home and had a panic attack in the shower and was crying. I was like, "Oh God, what did I do? I've never fought before." And so while we were getting prepared, he wrapped up my hands in the traditional bare knuckle style. We were hitting pads and I was wailing on the things,
Hmm.
and he had to stop it because when I take my glasses off, I can't see. He had to stop it because there was blood all over the pads because I had skinned
Mm.
my knuckles down. And he was like, "Do you not feel that?" I was like, "Mm-mm."
Wow,
So
that's
I mean,
crazy.
I don't have a lot of feeling in my hands just because I worked in kitchens for a long time, so I got a lot of cuts, a lot of
Um,
burns, a lot of scrapes, and then blue
yes,
collar on top of that. So I suppose in that regard, I have a little bit of a predisposition. But
interesting.
predispositions are nice and all, but if you train hard, you, it is what it is. I'd rather take someone who's a hard worker and consistent than someone who is a genetic mutant and just slacks off.
I'm 100% with you. Work ethic is everything.
Absolutely.
You mentioned you worked in kitchens. Tell me a little bit about yourself outside of the cage. What's one or some of your biggest passions?
Well, family. I've worked very, very hard to create a lifestyle that allows me to be home with my family a lot.
Okay.
This has been a pretty difficult pregnancy for my wife, and she's handled it like a trooper. But being able to take time away from the gym and rely on my coaches to help run the practices, and then being self-employed, it allows me that flexibility that I need. Like, oh, I have a kids concert today. Bet I can be there. I can be present within my family and within the things that really matter. Because at the end of the day, a fight's just a fight, man. No one really cares at the end of the day. But the people who do care are the ones you get to come home to every single day.
I think I know the answer to this question because you mentioned the due date is December 3rd, but is there any chance you think your wife is going to make it to the fight, or I imagine she'll be resting and recovering?
So that is something that we're playing by ear.
Okay.
She has my gym bought a table from Terrell,
Oh, wow.
so we could have have our people out there. And she has a spot for Juliet reserved, as well as those fancy headphones for the newborn, so she doesn't
Right.
develop hearing damage.
Right.
We have full intentions of her being there, but whether or not that's a reality or not is still by ear, because
Oh,
obviously her health and wellness come first before any social appearances.
absolutely. Okay. Last question I want to ask you. I'm such a big fan of combat sports in general, and I watch the UFC pretty religiously. Me and Justin actually we're going to be commentating together. We have a show together, and we talk about mixed martial arts all the time. I'd love to know, do you have a favorite active fighter right now in the UFC? And if so, why?
I can't really say I've been super involved in watching the UFC, just because I do have a lot of obligations. I mean, I have two businesses, I have two kiddos, a third on the way. And I have, I think, five fighters in addition to myself coming onto this card. So I've had my hands pretty full.
Sure.
One thing I will say is I have never seen a Justin Gaethje fight that was not entertaining.
Yeah. Dude, the people that are complaining about Patty versus Gaethje, I just like,
Mhm.
come on, man. It's
Dude,
gonna
that's
be
gonna be a
so good.
banger.
Yeah, just let
Like,
it be. No, people are upset because Armand got passed over, and I get that, and I understand that. But and there are also some other people are upset that Kayla Harrison and Amanda Nunes are not the main event; they're the co-main
right,
event. But like, I get it what they're doing. They're trying to make a splash. It's the first card on the the first fight on the or first card, excuse me, on the Paramount era. So I
right.
understand what they're doing, but it's just like, let's just stop complaining. Let's just be happy. This is going to be such a great fight. That's my 2 cents. Last thing,
Right.
real quick. Well, you mentioned you had two businesses. Can you tell me about your businesses?
So first and foremost, I own and operate Diesel's Counterpunch here in Great Falls, Montana. It's one of the two MMA gyms here. I've been operating that for 2 years as of September 1st, because September 1st seems to be the date where all the life-changing stuff happens. But I own and operate that. We train boxing, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, MMA. I know some of my jiu-jitsu coaches are starting to stick more toes into the judo scene as well. And then I also have a dump run forward slash junk hauling business. This guy's hauling, get a load of this guy. Where I come in, I clean up people's yards, I take care of all the junk that they don't want to deal with anymore, and they give me the money, forget about it, and off we go.
Well, I can obviously tell you've got a crazy work ethic, obviously running two businesses, doing the fight thing, about to have a kid. And I'm sure that serves you very well as you train and learn the sport of mixed martial or continue to learn the sport of mixed martial arts. So I can't wait to see you fight. Thank you so much for taking the time. I really appreciate it. Best of luck with your baby on the way, and best of luck on December 13th. I look forward to meeting you in person.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for your time today and for the interview. I look forward to meeting you as well. Have a great rest of your day.
All right, you too. Take it easy.
Bye.